can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As we gather to dedicate this historical marker, recognizing this area, which served as Bentley High School for nearly 40 years, we stand on ground which, dare I say, is sacred to thousands of former students, teachers, administrators, custodians, cooks, parents, coaches, volunteers, and others. Apologies if I left someone out you were connected to. We also recognize this land was and remains sacred to indigenous peoples who cared for this land for thousands of years before this ground was repurposed for education in 1944. And just a shout out to Bud Riddle, class of 73, from the Ojibwe tribe, White Lake Ojibwe tribe, for his help with that acknowledgement. So we pause for a few moments to remember those Bentley High School students and employees who have passed away, many far too soon.
Good afternoon, Livonia. My name is Phil Joyner, a proud graduate of Franklin High School, class of 1967. I join everyone here in Livonia in acknowledging our Bulldog heritage. They still continue to be important and can play a significant role engaging residents both near and far while sharing memories and significantly reminding us that work and effort went into building the community that many now call home. Monuments and historic markers reflect our values as a community and are tangible and visual markers of the stories that you and I value. They also remind us that history is not exclusively confined to the walls of a museum, but exists all around us. History happens everywhere, all the time. Our choices about who gets remembered, what gets remembered, and where acts of remembrance take place, and how we express the significance of remembrance is as much or more, as we will hear from our speakers, about the future than the past. Each of you have a keepsake program designed by Kathy Ventatelli. It's one that we encourage you to keep and share with other Bentley graduates. Let's also acknowledge, in addition to Kathy, Ted Davis and his staff at Parks and Recreation for putting this setting together today. Now, if Al Zach were here, who remembers Al Zach? Yeah. How many of you got kicked out for smoking? That was his #1 crusade, bar none. I smoke, but not cigarettes. Oh, I'm sorry. That was not supposed to be said.
It's okay now. It's okay now.
Mayor Maureen Miller Brosnan, a 1981 graduate of Divine Child High School, is a 16 member of the Livonia City Council, now in her second year term as mayor of the 8th largest city in Michigan. She understands the important role of transformative and transitional community developments. She understood this as executive director of the Michigan Venture Capital Association and witnessed this as chair of the board of the St. Joseph Mercy Regional Health System, where she served for 10 years. To share her thoughts on how we are honoring our storied past in the same place where we are creating part of Livonia's exciting future, would you join me in welcoming our mayor, Maureen Miller Brosnan?
Thank you, John. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here today with all of you Bentley graduates, Livonia supporters, those who wish you were Bentley graduates. Yeah, I know. You could say it. Listen, this is especially fitting that we are dedicating this memorial today on this ground, on this property. As we stand on what used to be and sit on what used to be the Bentley property, we are also standing on and sitting on what is going to be the center point of Livonia's future. You are all sitting on a site that took a great deal of leadership to advance. We are now moving in a direction that we call Project Catalyst. This is an opportunity for us as a city to realize a future dream of building a downtown in our Livonia. But it all started here on this piece of property where we were able to relocate and are in the process of relocating our Livonia Senior Wellness Center and recreating some of the space that we have inside the rec center. But interestingly enough, none of that would have been possible if it hadn't been for two significant Bentley High School graduates. Now, I know out in the world there are thousands of Bentley High School graduates that are making the world a better place, that are making their neighborhoods, their places of business, their entrepreneurial ventures extremely exciting and innovative and creative, and they're adding to our world and the fiber that builds our community. But there are two graduates that have done that here in the city of Livonia. Councilwoman Laura Toy and Wayne County Commissioner Terry Marecki, graduates of 1970 and 1974. And I'm going to leave it to you to decipher which one graduated when, okay? But when we talked about the need to build a downtown in Livonia, these two women intrinsically understood what was necessary. They came and they brought the leadership and the resources necessary in order for us to make that first step. And that first step involved a city council and leadership on a city council from Councilwoman Toy that said, you know what, a senior center ought to be our focus. It ought to be our next step. Followed quickly by somebody who believed in that dream and that vision, that sat on the Wayne County Commission in Terry Marecki, bringing $8 million to the project. An unbelievable, unprecedented amount of money that the city has received in grant donations from the county. So, as we move forward and we're able to come together and build a new senior wellness center on this property, we understand that the movement, the activity, all of the innovation that has come from this campus when it was Bentley High School continues on. Once we're done building our senior center here, it's going to allow us to re-envision the campus over at 5 Mile in Farmington. And that's where we're really going to see Livonia rise up and transform into that next generation. That next generation that the community, not only its leaders, but thousands of its residents have said that we needed to do in order to be that community of the future that our kids want to come home to. So we're going to be able to take down the old senior center, take down the old courthouse, take down the small restaurant and the office building on the corner, and begin to re-envision that campus. But in order to re-envision it as a downtown that has high-density residential like townhouses and condos and apartments and retail and restaurants and places for people to gather, we need even more space than that. So under the visionary leadership of this Livonia City Council, seated at its helm, Laura Toy, instantly believing that we needed to take one more brave step, and we were going to need to re-envision City Hall. We were going to need to reposition City Hall on that campus, moving it further east, closer to the courthouse, taking down an old building that no longer serves the city, making it much smaller because we don't need a footprint that large anymore, because we have modified city government and we are doing more with less. Instantly realizing that if we were able to bond for the money to do that, to not have to turn to taxpayers, that we would make the next step of Project Catalyst happen. Led again by the bravery, the ingenuity, and the leadership of a Bentley High School graduate. Laura Toy, thank you very much for your work there. Once we see City Hall moved, we're not done there. We still need more space in order to develop the downtown that Livonia residents have told us time and time again is missing from our community. So next year, we're going to be turning to you as residents, and we're going to be asking you to help us. Because this is everybody's got to rise up, everybody's got to lift up, and everybody's going to have to help. We're going to be asking you to join us in securing the funds necessary to move our police department, to build a new police headquarters, and to redesign and re-envision all of our Livonia fire stations, to raise our level of public safety up to a new level. And in doing so, to free up and again clear property for 27 acres of new development. None of that would have happened had it not been for the leadership that started on this piece of property, literally started on this piece of property when 2 of these graduates left this organization, this educational organization, back in the 1970s, and left with a desire to continue to serve their community. So I am ever so proud to be able to tell you today about the story of not only Bentley's history, but how it is affected, impacted, and entwined with our future. They are so ultimately closely connected. And if you can imagine that that kind of forward thinking is happening right here in our 36 square mile area, can you imagine all of the innovation that is traveling throughout this country, throughout this world, as a result of the many Bentley graduates who have been part of this organization and part of this educational institution. So I want to thank you all for having me here today. On behalf of the City of Livonia, we share in your excitement over dedicating the memorial today, and Bill, to the entire team who I know worked so hard at securing the memorial, the site, and this whole day putting it together. I want to thank you all very much for carrying on our city's history, not ever ignoring that the only reason that we are able to rise up is that we stand on the shoulder of giants. And those giants come from our strong educational community here in the City of Livonia. So thank you very much for making this possible.
Thank you, Mayor Brosnan. Hard for me to believe that Don Friedrich, who was a principal here at Bentley, who went on to become an assistant superintendent, said to me once that, and he talked with Dan Andrew, the city planning director in 1965, we've got 3 high schools, but we need more than that in Livonia. So a man that started off as a principal here at Bentley said we need a recreation center. So he put together a coalition of city and educational people and built the YMCA. Took them 2 years, they raised the money, 1 more year, and they built it. Denny McLean was the honorary chairman of building that. Denny McLean, along with Phil Power. But that we're pleased to have with us next. Let me introduce first. We have some city elected officials that are here with the mayor today. Council President Brandon, let's just let them stand. Save your applause, it's too hot. City Councilman Brandon McCullough, City Councilwoman Laura Toy, and City Treasurer Susie Nash. Let's give them a round of applause. Oh, and Lori Miller, our city clerk. Superintendent Andrea Oquist, a 1985 graduate of Stevenson High School, has spent, and I just found out that her stepfather was the principal, David Ammerman, one of my favorite people ever, who was the principal at my high school in the only one to deny me any awards, because my mother was on the school board and he said it would look like I was playing favoritism. So is it too late, Andrea, for me to get those awards? Come on by, we'll get it. Okay. She spent much of her life in the district as a student, teacher, and administrator. She understands firsthand the important role that change plays in educating our youth, how the passion for education in Livonia during the 1940s and the realization that for our hometown to grow, there was a need through the foresight of school leaders to set a standard of excellence that we continue to see today. Would you join in welcoming only our 8th superintendent of the Livonia Public Schools, Andrea Oquist, to share her thoughts on how we are grateful for those early leaders pointing the direction for transformative and transformational experiences.
Well, good afternoon. What a special day this is. I am always so proud to be part of anything that is connected with Livonia Public Schools. Livonia has been my home, and Livonia Public Schools has been my work home for the past 35 years, and there is nowhere else I would rather be. So thank you for joining on this very special day. First, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jim McConnell, Bill Joyner, and all of those who were part of earning this exceptional distinction as a historical site for Bentley High School. This is a culmination of many years of effort and steady perseverance, and that is how things get done. Thank you for the privilege of allowing me to celebrate this special day with you, for representing Livonia Public Schools and our Board of Education. We are so proud to have 2 Bentley Bulldogs serve with distinction on our Board of Education, one of whom is here today, Mr. Mark Johnson and Mrs. Colleen Burton. Congratulations to our own Bentley Bulldogs. Today I'm excited to share some history with you about Bentley and why it is so special and important to Livonia Public Schools. And I want to thank Liz Jarvis, one of our school board trustees, and Kathy Bilger, a longtime community member and amazing historian. Back on an overcast day in November in 1946, the first shovel was put in the ground on this site, paving the way for what is now the Livonia Public Schools School District. On this historic day, we remember and honor the role Bentley High School played in transforming our local school community. We were originally the Livonia Township School District, serving students in kindergarten through 8th grade. But Bentley was among the first high schools to be created in the new community school district model, eliminating single school districts. Students who wanted to attend high school at that time needed to attend in a neighboring district. But in this new structure, high schools became localized to the community and thereby creating new school districts. This allowed more students to attend high school and not limit it to only prospective college students. That was truly transformative at that time. In building Bentley High School, Bentley became a leader in implementing the new structure and made way for all of our Livonia Township students to move on not only to high school but to higher education. I have a couple of special personal connections with Bentley, as my mom Eunice proudly served as a secretary here at Bentley High School in the 1960s. She actually prepared and typed the first official program of study on stencil, which is not a simple task, and she has shared with me many times the proud history of this high school, the staff, the students, and all of the people in it. Upon reflection, Bentley High School represents the essence of our school and of our district and our community, where innovation and excellence set the standard that we continue to persevere and celebrate today. Leading the way for students to excel, Bentley High School is a true reminder how when a community comes together and lifts one another up in the name of our youth, we can do tremendous things. Together, on behalf of our entire board, we salute our district's predecessors for their foresight, their passion, and their quest for excellence. I congratulate again all who were part of earning this amazing historical marker. It is with great pride that we still continue to welcome over 13,000 students each day to our school district and over 2,000 staff. And we hope that we make all of you Bentley Bulldog alumni proud in the things that we do each and every day. Congratulations and thank you.
We have members of our school board with us today. You already said Mark Johnson, Madeline Acosta. Did I see Crystal Frank? Oh, we've got 2 members of our school board here. Let's welcome. Who? Crystal Frank is here. Let's thank them. Throughout the country, a bold vision for the 21st century is shaping a new mindset for local communities and states. It is a new transformational idea based on the proposition that a community college, when joining with local elected officials to build strategic partnership, keeps the dream of higher education within reach of the residents. In the 1950s, leaders in Western Wayne County realizing that with the opening of Bentley High School, there would be a desire and perhaps a demand to extend the educational opportunities beyond the 12th grade. Dr. Glenn Cerny, a 1980 graduate of Sterling Heights High School, who continues, well, I don't know, Sterling Heights, Divine Child, they both left town, but they realized where they ought to come home to, Livonia, who continues to transform Schoolcraft College with innovative community-connected programs, who understands that, as Harry Truman set out in his message in 1947, community colleges are a national asset. Would you join me in welcoming Dr. Glenn Cerny as he shares with us the role Bentley High School played in opening up educational opportunities for our hometown. Dr. Glenn Cerny.
Thank you, Bill. It was tough getting here before 696 and 275 from Sterling Heights. It was 8 mile all the way, so Carol's telling me to pick this up a little bit, so. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's great. All right, so good afternoon. I know we're keeping you from some things that's going on down in Detroit right now. I know that, so I'll be brief. I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank specifically Bill for organizing this historic marking. It's so important to acknowledge what's been in the past in order to move forward in the future. And it's fair to say that without Bentley High School, Schoolcraft College would not exist. The pipeline of students from the school districts that support our college, Livonia, Northville, Plymouth, Canton, Garden City, or Clarenceville, were a crucial part of developing what we have today at Haggerty Road. The residents of this area, including Livonia, understood the need for a two-year college in the community, especially as the population grew in the 1950s and 60s. Livonia, whose students attended Bentley High School, has always strongly supported the college. Bentley High School and Schoolcraft are forever linked. Not only has the Livonia public school system been a big supporter of ours, ever since the question was asked on the ballot about whether the college should be created, but our very first student to enroll was from Bentley High School. That honor belongs to Richard Gray, who was 19 years old when he registered. Here's how Samuel Hudson described him in his book, Reaching Out, A History of Schoolcraft College. The first application for admission was turned in by Richard Gray, age 19, of Livonia. Gray, a star baseball player at Bentley High School, was standing at the door of the old Newburgh School with application and matriculation fees in hand. We love that at Schoolcraft. On the morning, the college accepted applications for the first time. Since Gray enrolled, more than 3,500 Bentley graduates were admitted to Schoolcraft College, making it one of the top feeder schools for Schoolcraft. Many faculty and staff members who have worked for the college have roots with Bentley High School, including several current instructors, one of which is here today, Colleen Pilgrim, stand up, 1985 Bentley graduate. No one person has ties to Schoolcraft College more and love for the Bentley High School than our individual right behind me, Laura Toy, a former board member of the Board of Trustees at Schoolcraft, who has served in many other elected positions. Currently on the City Council here in Livonia, she always makes sure she plugs her beloved Bentley High School whenever asking someone about their background. And we cannot forget a great link between the Livonia Public Schools and Schoolcraft College. Our chairperson, please stand up. Chairman Carol Strom, Schoolcraft Board. Carol was our Board of Trustees chair, but she's been our chair 3 different times. That's how long, it's good experience. Has served for many years on the school board here in Livonia. Not only did she serve on the board, she was involved in the local PTA and served as a peer counselor at the college's Women Resource Center. She's a valuable member of the Livonia Educational Committee. And twice, the college has bestowed honorary degrees to those strongly affiliated with Bentley. Former Bentley principal Cecil Elford. Everybody know that? Yep. Such an honor was bestowed in 1973. And former student and Board of Trustee member Mark McQueston received one at a commencement in 1985. These honors went both ways. Our former president, our third president of Schoolcraft College, Dr. Richard McDowell, who was a commencement speaker at Bentley shortly before it closed in the mid-1980s. Now, I have it on record. Dr. McDowell assures me that no factor was in his speech that caused that school to close. Just want to make sure that was on record. These connections were crucial to the department and to the Schoolcraft College, and it's my honor to stand here representing this great asset of higher education and help celebrate part of what made the college what it is today. So everyone who has played a role in making the historical marker a reality, we at Schoolcraft College thank you for keeping the memory of Bentley High School alive. One more thing, I want to thank Alec Thompson and David Vesselneck for doing all this research, all the archives. Thank you guys for helping me out with this today, and I want to thank Bill. Thank you.
And one additional, when we finish the program, and guess what? We're almost to the point where we're going to unveil. Schoolcraft College has provided some of their wonderful culinary art desserts. So we'll get another bottle of water and get some desserts. Drew Boati is over there, and in a few minutes he's going to start putting them out. But first, as we get closer, no, you can't go eat the desserts yet. As Livonia celebrates the 77th anniversary of the opening of Bentley High School, it is significant that an 85-year-old, 50-year resident of Livonia and a graduate of Wyan Roosevelt High School, class of 1957, Jim McConnell, spearheaded the 2-year effort to recruit volunteers, coordinate the research, oversee the drafting, and the final acceptance by the State of Michigan Historical Commission. Taking over the leadership of the Livonia Historical Society, founded in 1956, he has established the mantra, along with his wife Annette, the real driving force behind Jim, that history is not dull. It is an accumulated knowledge and examination of the past, laying the groundwork for the future direction of, in this case, our hometown Livonia. Jim and Annette McConnell will be inducted on October 3rd into the 1835 Livonia Hall of Fame. Today they are smiling at the results of so many who made this marker dedication possible. Would you please join me in welcoming Dr. Jim McConnell, President of the Livonia Historical Society. Hey, Jim.
Thank you, everybody. I need to tell you that I'm really thankful for everybody being here today. It has been a tremendous challenge, a lot of work, and there's no doubt that a history teacher has to tell you a couple things about history, even though you've heard so much already. First of all, this date, September 15th. Why do we dedicate the marker on this date? Because in 1947, the building was still being constructed, but students were allowed to enter. So this is the first day of class for Bentley High School. I think that's amazing. Secondly, there were 36 graduations ceremonies held at Bentley High School from 1950 to 1985. In those 36 ceremonies, 18,246 individuals graduated from Bentley High School. And having heard that comment from Schoolcraft, about 16, or whatever the number was, about 16% of the Bentley graduates went on to Schoolcraft College. So that's a nice statistic to have. I need to tell you that Bill made a serious, he's done everything, that more than you could imagine. And this has been wonderful because of Annette, Bill, and Kathy, who really did a lot of this work, plus a committee. But he made one mistake. He told me, a high school history teacher, that I could talk as long as I wanted.
Next.
The good news, my wife Annette said that if I talk longer than some people, other people talk, I will have no dinner on the table tonight. And she will probably delete the Lions game that I'm taping to start watching at 4 o'clock. So I will not go that long. But I do have to tell you, Livonia had 6 historical markers in our community prior to the Bentley marker being number 7. The first one came in 1964, and it was for the Newburgh Cemetery. And I could tell you about a cemetery walk that we're doing on October 6th, but I don't have the time to do that. So I can't tell you about that cemetery walk on October 6th. It's on our website. The last marker in Livonia was 2001, and it was for the Clarenceville School District, as Bill indicated, one of the oldest school districts in Michigan. He says the oldest district in Michigan, and until Laura can confirm that for me, I won't say that. I served on the commission for a period of time, and Laura taught me that you never say first, best, or worst, because they're always wrong. Bottom line, Bill's done an amazing job. These are the 7 markers. If you want to read the full text of the current marker, Laura and I will unveil it in just a few minutes. It's right here for you. It's also printed on the green sheet that you got at the start, so that you can actually take that home. But what about the other 6 markers in Livonia? You have to go to our website. This is another paid advertisement. The website has all 6 marker texts on it, and within the next 2 or 3 weeks, Annette will work with Josh Earls, our web guy, to get the new marker text up on top on our website. I should have mentioned that there are 2 markers not in Livonia that relate to Livonia history. In Westland, there is a marker for the Cooper School, which is a part of the Livonia School District. This no longer exists, but that marker is there reflecting Livonia's history. Also, in Farmington Hills, there is a marker for a home owned by one of the Simmons family. Greenmead Historical Park is directly related to the Hill Simmons family. You need to visit Greenmead Historical Park. I didn't mention the fact that we have worked with the superintendent to offer all 2nd grade students in Livonia and Clarenceville a field trip to Greenmead, and we are raising money for that. Peter Dale, our treasurer, just know that means if you're over 71 and a half or so, your RMD money can help us. We have already gotten RMD donations, so thank you to those folks. We want to build that for the next 25 years or so the kids always can visit Greenmead. I need to tell you that working on this project has been fascinating. I have learned so much about Bentley and the history of it that I really, really would love to tell you the story of how these different districts joined together, as Andrea referred to in her comments, to create the Livonia Public Schools. I also would love to tell you about the leadership that created the city of Livonia in 1950. However, both Bill and Annette have told me I can't do that. So when you go to our website after October 1st, we will have a 3-page history for you to read on that topic. You will also find an amazing article that Gene Scott, a writer for the City of Detroit for many years, wrote about the 7 Livonias that are in the United States, beginning with the first Livonia in New York and the origins of that name. It's great stuff. So in doing this marker, I worked with a lot of wonderful people. They are named in the program. And I need to tell you that they were all great to work with. And what we did is build a sense of community, which brought all of you out here today. And that is what we need for the future as well. Robert Putnam, an author of an academic book about 20 years ago, wrote a thing called Bowling Alone. And Annette will kill me for talking about this, but life goes on. Bowling Alone talks about the problems our society faces because we don't unite enough as a society, which in 1831 Alexis de Tocqueville thought was critical for the future of democracy. The social networks, he wrote Democracy in America. He even came to Michigan to find out where the frontier was. So that's a thing that we have to do. We have to keep building community, and this project was an example of that. Finally, I want to be certain that you know that the mayor has supported a major initiative to recognize May 23rd, 1950, because next May 23rd is the 75th anniversary of the founding of the city of Livonia. And yes, the Livonia Historical Society wants to help lead that endeavor. The mayor has appointed Rob Drzicki, one of her staff people, to head up the city's effort. We are now looking for groups, individuals, to plan events for next year. I think that's amazing, an amazing thing. The mayor has also looked at the past in trying to look back at the guys who, and she used the phrase, we stand on the shoulders of great people. I need to tell you that in the early 50s, the leadership of Livonia was amazing. When I look today at this community, and especially the Parks and Rec, because Annette and I walk in Rotary Park and in Bicentennial Park, and thanks to Bill Joyner, I've even learned about other parks in Livonia that have walking trails. So it's an amazing community. And when she talks about Vision 21 and building a new future for this city, I am just tremendously impressed and thankful for her leadership. Finally, to close, God willing, I need to thank the Michigan Historical Commission, who did approve this marker on February the 8th of this year, 2024, by a unanimous vote. And the person who made that motion to approve this marker was Laura Ashley. Laura has been a dear friend for many years. I wanted to also recognize Sandra Clark, who directs the Michigan History Center and oversees the work of the commission, and Michelle Davis. And Bill and I are among the few people who know how hard Michelle worked to be certain that that green marker was here for us today. It's a real joy. So we thank Michelle, Sandra, and Andrew Oswald, who did some of the research for the marker. Finally, Laura, finally, is that the third time I've said finally? God bless.
This is fourth final.
Fourth. Hey, when I timed this at home, it was 4 minutes. I've embellished a little bit. So I need.
As far as I'm concerned, Jim McConnell is the reason this marker is honoring all of you. He can take as long as he wants.
Even though he told me no later. Bottom line, Laura and I worked together 30 years ago. She is an outstanding example of a civil servant. She ran the State of Michigan Marker Historical Program. She wrote a book, which I brought with me to share, Traveling Through Time, done by MSU Press, I think. U of M Press. And U of M Press, God, how could I, it's U of M colors. Bottom line, if you want to know about every marker in the state of Michigan, this is the book to get. It's arranged by county, detailed. Okay, great book. Laura retired, and she was then appointed by the governor to the Michigan Historical Commission. And so our friendship goes back for many years, and I'm thankful that she was there to join us today. Laura, welcome to Livonia. Wherever she is. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Well, I grew up in nearby Plymouth and attended Plymouth-Salem High School, home of the Plymouth Rocks. Go Rocks, the strangest name in community sports. But we used to play the Bentley Bulldogs. So it's nice to be here. I feel like I'm an honorary Bulldog today. I just will speak briefly, I promise, but I want to tell you a little bit about the marker program so that you know what the context is for this marker. The Historical Commission, the Michigan Historical Commission, is the official body in state government that deals with history. We advise the Michigan History Center in Lansing. And the commission dedicated the first Michigan historical marker in 1955 at Michigan State University in honor of the university's centennial. Since then, more than 1,800 markers have been dedicated throughout the state. Some of them are for historic buildings, some are for important events, significant people, and in this case, for institutions that are important at the local level. So institutions like Bentley High School. And as Bill and Jim have said, a lot of work goes into the application process. There's a lot of research that has to be done, and the significance has to be documented in order to substantiate everything that goes on the marker text. In Bentley's case, even though the building did not exist, the Historical Commission felt that Bentley's history reflected things that were happening throughout the state, like the superintendent talked about with the consolidation effort. All of that was going on here, and it was elsewhere, but the commission felt that that was very important to acknowledge with the marker. And that Bentley reflected Livonia Township's growth after the war, and then the city being incorporated just a few years after Bentley held its first classes. So the marker program almost entirely depends on citizens to drive it. The markers, the 1800 markers, would not exist without people like the people here in Livonia, like Dr. McConnell, Mr. Joyner, and the Livonia Historical Society applying and raising the money from the alumni, like many of you gave money for the marker. So each marker tells a story, and with this marker, there's recognition by the state of Michigan that Bentley's story is part of the state of Michigan's story. So on behalf of the Michigan Historical Commission, I want to present you with this Michigan Historical Marker. Thank you all for coming. You're welcome.
1950s. Congratulations. Who graduated in the class of 1951? Do we have any? We do. Somebody. Where's 19? Right there. Don, 1951. All right, let's have a show of hands. The 1960s. Whoa. I love that decade. My first varsity swim meet was against Bentley High School. My name was Joyner. Your coach was named Joyner. The stands were packed. Everybody thought I was his son, and I finished dead last. He apologized to everybody so many times for his son not being a good swimmer. How about the 1970s? Oh. All right, how many didn't graduate? How about the 1980s? Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Before we head over there for the Schoolcraft desserts, we have just a few more comments. With over 18,000 graduates of Bentley High School, our hometown and region are replete with proud Bulldogs. Few have taken their class leadership to as many heights as Councilwoman Laura Toy. She embodies that Bulldog spirit. It is appropriate that we join in welcoming the president of Bentley High School, class of 1970, City Councilwoman Laura Toy, to accept this historic marker on behalf of all of us who call Bentley home. Laura Toy.
Well, it's indeed an honor to be here today, in spite of our ages. And I do want to have a point of privilege to introduce a very special person that has gone through a lot of years with me in a business and everything else, and that's Colleen Simbor, class of 70. And all the 70ers that came out today, thank you for being here, so many of you. We were a big class because we had Clarenceville join us because John Glenn was not built yet. So we had almost 1,000 in our class. Churchill, where's that at? Anyhow, this is an opportunity to represent 18,000 proud graduates who formed the cornerstone of educational excellence in Livonia. Today's marker, dedicated, is a symbol recognition that Bentley High School will always have contributed so much to society nationwide, to the education community in Livonia, into the go-to hometown, a community that people wanted to settle in. Jim McConnell and all the members of the Livonia Historical Society, the 18,000 graduates, along with hundreds of staff and administrators, say thank you for this recognition and reminding and remembering as well, all of us, and our future as a community stems from the quality of education offered. Thank you, Andrea. And so Bentley did just that, set the tone for educational excellence for decades and decades to follow. The Bulldogs are alive and continuing to make an impact. God bless you.
I'd like to invite our state representative, Lori Pohutsky, County Commissioner Glenn Anderson, U.S. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib to come forward, please. Along with...
We're not talking. We're not speaking. Oh, we are not speaking.
Did I miss somebody? No, they're not going to talk. They're just going to come up here on the stage with Terry Marecki. Get up here behind Terry. Another graduate of Bentley High School has held community leadership positions in our city and county. Now serving as a Wayne County Commissioner, Terry Marecki is an example of a Bentley graduate that took her skill set and defined it by adding community and public service. Join with me in welcoming Wayne County Commissioner Terry Marecki, along with members of our legislative delegation in Lansing, Wayne County, and Washington, D.C., to recognize the important role Bentley played and which is appreciated by leaders across the country and throughout Michigan. Terry Marecki.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so privileged to be up here. We just had our 50th class reunion, which a lot of my friends are here from that a couple of weeks ago. And who I never would have thought 50 years ago, after graduating from Bentley, I'd be here 50 years later with unveiling this wonderful marker. So thank you for being here, and thank you for the committee for asking me to be here today. We are all up here, and we're not going to read the resolutions, which I'm that you're all happy about, but we just want to present resolutions of honor to this day and to Bentley. So this is my colleague, Glenn Anderson. There's 15 of us that serve in the Wayne County Commission, and we have a resolution that can be hung up in the Bentley room, I believe. Go ahead.
So as a member of the United States Congress, I get to put in the Congressional Journal, will be in the history of our country forever. So for the 118th Congress, there will be a special tribute for Bentley.
From the 102nd Legislature in the state of Michigan, we also have a tribute for Bentley High School, just commemorating this exceptional historic day.
Come on, Laura, get up there and show us the city council one.
Okay, and on behalf of the Livonia City Council, thank you, with Laura Toy presenting. This is on behalf, I know there's some city council members here today that were introduced, but here's another resolution to put into the room at the Bentley Center here.
Laura, Mayor, we need you over there to get a picture. It's with a great deal of pleasure that I suggest I like all of you. For this Franklin High School graduate to say that, I really am proud of the Bulldogs. Let's have a round of applause for this historic marker. Thank you all for being here.
us to victory.